Here we are on Tip and Tails, and we're with David and Jules from the West Midland Engage Club, WMNGC. So I'm going to go to introduce yourselves and then tell us a bit about what it is. So, Jules, you brought David along with his Iron Maiden T-shirt. So we've got some rock music to play as well. And we've got a special track to play for Busby as well.
We've got to remember Busby, haven't we? Yeah,
so tell us a bit about what West Midland Engage Club is.
Right, Bill. Well, thanks very much for having us on the show.
It's a pleasure.
Really appreciate coming across.
No,
the West Midlands Engage Club is a model railway-based club that's based in Tipton. We meet twice a month. And we've been established for quite some time, haven't we, Dave?
30 years.
30 years?
This year,
right.
yes.
Yeah.
So we're celebrating this year, and with that celebration, we're also having a little bit of a recruitment drive. We're not in any dire need or anything, but we just like to let people know where we are, what we do, and say, come along and have some coffee and some cake.
Yeah. So let's go individually back. When did your interest start in trains? And I mean, it is radio, but we've got like a tiny model train that's just fantastic that I'm going to take a picture of. I'm going to send it up onto our website. It's just brilliant. But when did your interest start and why did it start?
Introduce yourself. I'm Dave Griffin. I'm a member of the West Midlands Engage Club. I currently sort out the exhibition venues for the layouts to go. I started model railways in the 60s, just as most young lads under 10 in the 60s did. Hornby, 3-rail on the carpet, collecting dust. Progressed from there, got to the teens, and it fell by the wayside because I found women and cars, as you do. And it wasn't until my late 20s that I got back into it again. And I went to a railway exhibition, seen a couple of lads with an Engage lad. I thought, this looks good. And I joined the then Engage Society, and I've never looked back since. And I'm one of the founder members of the West Midlands Engage Club 30 years ago, and we've progressed ever since.
So what? I mean, there's obviously a difference between Engage, and then the stuff you can buy in the toy shops.
Absolutely.
So,
well, most of the main stuff is made by a company. Most people have heard of Hornby.
Yeah.
And Hornby have a gauge called 00, and that's, if you're going to get your ruler out, that's 4mm to the foot. So we work in Engage, which is smaller than that, which is 2mm to the foot. So when you were talking about the small diorama I brought in, there's a small scene inside a glasses case.
Yeah.
You can do so much more with Engage in such a much smaller space.
Yeah. I mean, it's just incredible, really. And do you buy them that size, or do the members make them that size?
You can. There is various kits available, wagons, coaches, locos, that you can buy, build and paint and detail yourselves. Or there's a few companies that manufacture them and sell them at exorbitant prices to the public.
Yeah.
There's an array of locos, diesel locos, steam locos, wagons, coaches, all available to buy from shops and the internet, of course.
So what was the reason why you changed from the Hornby normal size or whatever gauge it is to this? Was it just the challenge of seeing something that small and working with something that smaller?
I think most Engage modellers would say it's the wrong thing to say, but you can get more in.
Yeah.
So if you've got a certain size of baseboard that you can fit in your bedroom or your spare bedroom, you can get more trains in Engage than you can in 00, because Engage is half the size of 00.
And I take that to the other extreme as well, because I've got my own sort of little enterprise called Small World Layouts, and I take it and make it even smaller then. So like you said, this is one I've built in a glasses case, and I build all my layouts in really small things like briefcases, suitcase. I've got a layout in a suitcase that exhibits.
Really?
I've got one in a small 14-inch box, so I'll take them even smaller, yeah.
Have you both got tracks in your loft at home? And
yes.
All the way across the loft?
I have, yeah.
No, I haven't. See, I'm in a shed.
Oh,
so all my layouts are so small. I've got 6 or 7 exhibition layouts, and they all fit into my shed.
In the shed, yeah.
Mine's a portable layout. It's in the loft, but it can be removed and taken to exhibitions and whatnot. So.
And how about your journey, Jules? When did it start?
Well, it's a bit different to Dave. So when I was a kid, I wasn't really interested in the toy side of it, and plus don't remember having the money for it, to be honest. But I like the big version because I grew up north on the Carlisle Settle line.
I was going to say you ain't from Tipton, is it?
Well, I brought Dave to translate today, so I'm all right, you see. No, I grew up north, so I had a family friend that worked the Carlisle Settle line, and in my summers I used to cycle out to Colgate and go and stay in the box and just spend the day with him. And my interest from trains came from that. So later in life, I kind of fell straight into Engage and just cut out all the Hornby stuff and the sort of more readily available stuff, you know.
So are you both big train, I suppose, fans as well?
Yes. That was going to be nerds then. That was going to be nerds, that word. I was going
to say, are you one of them who stands with the little book and goes, the 338 is just 2 minutes late?
No, I've never done that. We've got a few members in the club who have done that.
Yeah.
But I've never stood on platforms and waiting for a loco to go.
I have when I'm younger.
I have stood on platforms waiting for trains to come, but I've never had a book of numbers.
Yeah.
Which a lot
I mean, you wouldn't go out with your sandwiches in your pocket.
Well, you see, I've got a good excuse now because I've got a Grand Devil. He's 6, so shout out to the Grand Devil, and he's great to be taken along to any sort of good excuse. Recently been to the big, huge Railway Museum in York and took him for a day out there, and we had a lovely time. Went to see Mallard and all these famous locomotives people have heard of. So, yeah.
Do you find the kids engage? I mean, it's a really good area because we get lots of work placement kids here and there. And I only said to 3 of them this morning, the choice of songs are pretty weird for your age, and also your interests are pretty weird. They're not sort of contemporary, and it's almost like they're grasping because of all this technology and instant gratification they can get. They're looking for something deeper, this generation. So do you find the kids really engage with?
Well, I spend all day long with the kids you're talking of, and I don't see it.
Yeah.
I see more and more. I think there's a lack. This is probably a terrible generalisation, but there is a bit of a lack of creativity, and our hobby is all about that. If it's not on a screen, then I think that sort of leaves them a bit at a loss sometimes.
Yeah. And how about you? I mean, you're out to recruit. Is that because your numbers are falling? Everybody's getting older. You can't,
No, it's more, I would say, to do with probably future-proofing. I mean, the club's doing well.
Yeah.
I mean, we're financially stable. We've got an average of 14, 15 members on a Saturday. We have got a couple of young ones that come with the parents, but to have some more would be great. And if they stay, that would future-proof the club, type of thing. So. And
do the stuff that you do you keep abreast of the times, for want of a better word? I mean, you've got all the steam stuff and all that. Are the models of new stuff,
very much,
electric stuff?
So,
with having such a varied membership, we've got all varied interests as well. Yeah. So people will bring along the more up to date, electric trains as much as the steam trains you're mentioning.
Yeah, we've got 2 large layouts in the club. One's 24 foot long. It's called. What's it called?
Waterstock.
It's called Waterstock.
Yeah.
And it's roughly based on an area in Oxfordshire. And that's like a fictional steam railway.
Yeah.
And then we've got another one which is 12 foot long. It's called Wharton Hall, which is a play on words, based on Water Orton over in Coleshill Way. And that's predominantly a modern image.
And what about the surrounding stuff? You've got your trains and that. Do you buy all the hills and the trees and all that?
Not really.
Do you try to make as much?
You can make it. You can make it from scratch. It depends on how you want to approach the hobby. Some people enjoy making all the stuff that makes up the hills and the green. And some people just want a nice, quick solution, and nothing wrong with either. It's just personal choice. You tend to buy a lot of the scatter materials, like it used to be once upon a time it was dyed sawdust, But no, most of the time it's quite inexpensive.
There's an easy way. I wouldn't say a hard way. There's an easy way and another way. You can buy what they call a grass mat. You just open it up and it's like fluffy green.
Oh yeah.
So that does your grass, and it's one shade of green. Where if you can go another level, whereas you buy all these different coloured scatters, and you mix them all up so you can make it look like real grass. We can use a system called static grass, where the fibres, you can make them stand up, and you can get them 2 mil, 3 mil, and it looks like real grass if it's done, But that's, I would say, model railway. It's a visual thing. So if it's what you want, so you can have an oval of track on your carpet, and if you're happy with that, it's great. At the end of the day, a lot of dyed-in-the-wool modelers wouldn't like this, but at the end of the day, we're playing trains.
Yeah, I suppose.
And I've been doing it for like 50 years, and I'll admit to that.
Yeah.
Like, we're just playing trains, whether it's an oval on the carpet or a 24-foot, fully scenic, exhibition standard railway that's been invited to magazines and exhibitions. It's one extreme to the other.
And are they static or do they run? Have they got?
No, they all run.
They all run.
Yeah.
So
this is just brought in a little example. This is a diorama. So a diorama doesn't run; it's just a scene. And I take we have a diorama corner that I take out to exhibitions, and I've got 4 or 5 of these very, very small holiday boxes. My big little son keeps bringing me back, and I put a scene or a diorama in there, and they're quite popular.
I was going to say, are they popular in terms of collectibles? Would somebody, buy one of those?
They wouldn't tend to do that.
Mantelpiece,
what people tend to collect are the older models. Dave will be better at advising you about this, like the triangle stuff.
Yeah, there's some older triangle stuff that's collectible. There's a company called Wren that's collectible. Some of the older, early Engage stuff can be collectible. So there are people that, spend the money on that side of the hobby.
This is the sort of stuff you'd see on Antiques Roadshow and that. And what sort of, how does it keep its value, or how would it increase in value? Some of these older stuff, these older things.
The older stuff can be really expensive, but you're talking the old, what we call O-gauge tin plate. The O-gauge is twice the size of the Hornby.
Yeah.
So that's really big. But that tin plate, probably 40s and 50s. Hornby did some, and there was a German company called Bing. They did some. Some of those can be collectible. They're all clockwork, wind-up.
Oh, wind-ups, yeah. What material do you use to make your models then, Jules?
Quite a lot, lots of different things. Depends what sort of aspect you're trying to model. But nowadays, one brilliant innovation that's coming through is 3D printing.
Oh, cool.
So a lot of the time I commission people who've got better 3D printers, because they've got to be quite detailed to get it down to 2 millimeters to the foot, to make me things like walls. And I've just done some Thomas the Tank Engine modelling as well, because they're still very, very popular at shows when you go out. And I had a man with a 3D printer help me out with that. But yeah, a lot of the time it's just, you do make everything, but you make the scene more than you make all the individual little elements. Like Dave said earlier, you buy the grass, I use wet and dry paper for the road quite a lot. So that makes a nice tarmac effect, know. And there's all kitchen scourers you can use for hedges and all this, and sponges. You can chop up and dye sponges to make your bits of clumps of trees and all the rest of it. It's just whatever you got in mind to do.
Yeah. I mean, my late wife's dad, he used to make model houses, and he'd cut up cornflake, spend hours cutting
Yeah.
cornflake boxes into slates and painting
That's
them
it.
grey to put it.
Yeah.
It's just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, very much.
It's absolutely beautiful. We'll both play some music. We'll play some music and be back in a bit. So we're going to kick off with a piece of Iron Maiden, because we've got an Iron Maiden T-shirt here. And then we're going to play a track for Busby, because we know he loves them. But anyway, here's Iron Maiden, and it's Can I Play With Madness?
Can I play with madness?
There we are, Iron Maiden. I read an article about them in the paper, and they don't ever to play Glastonbury. They said because it's I don't know, what did he say? Dickinson. He said something about selling out if we played Glastonbury, and that's not.
Was it a lot of because of the ticket price or
I
something
don't.
like that?
Well, it might have been a bit with that, but I think it's because of the way it's gone now.
Right.
And the type of artist that they show.
Right.
And a lot of them have come through the TikTok,
Well, I was at the NIA a matter of about 2-3 weeks ago, and there was no compromise going on then when Dickinson was on stage, 64 years old.
I know,
and
it's
the set
incredible.
was phenomenal.
Yeah,
it was really
incredible.
interesting.
I mean, he looks pretty fit, doesn't he?
Oh, he is.
But I mean, he can do absolutely. He's a air pilot, isn't he, and a fencer, and whatever he wants
very
to do.
famously.
Yeah, fantastic. Back to the club. Saturday.
Yes.
You say it's Saturdays. The Saturday morning,
First and third
Saturday
Saturdays
of
in
the month.
month.
And whereabouts in Tipton is it?
It's Tipton Green Methodist Church. Anybody wants? It's Park Lane West, Tipton, West Midlands. DY4 8LD.
And what time does it kick off? And
2 o'clock
Yeah.
till 5 o'clock is on the ticket, but somebody's there by 1:30 normally. Sometimes we gone at 4:30. It all depends how many stragglers are there at
yeah.
4:30 till 4:30, something like that.
So tell us what goes on there, and I suppose you'd have two types of people. You might have somebody coming just to have a look,
Which is fine.
but you might have a lone modeller that wants to bring the stuff and display it when they. So what
which
goes
is
on?
most of us, really.
Yeah.
No, everybody's welcome.
Well, there's 4 layouts in the room that are
These are set up, yeah.
that are set up permanently in the club room, so all the members can come, bring their own trains, play trains on the layouts. At the moment, we've got 2 layouts in the process of being rebuilt and revamped. So there's 3 or 4 members fritting between those 2 layouts, bringing them up to exhibition spec. I do believe you've got one, Jules, at home, renovating.
I have. That's having bits of track taken off it at the moment, and the electronics looking at before we strip it down, then rebuild all the scenery. And if new members want to come along, they want to learn how to do this. We have a couple of people at the moment who are doing exactly that, coming along. Not everybody brings trains and stuff. It's a social club. We do talk to people. You're very welcome to come along. We always have coffee and cake, as mentioned. You don't have to bring trains. You don't have to know anything about trains. First meeting, you come along. You don't have to pay. Just come along, have a chat. Can I just mention the website as well, Billy?
Yeah,
Would
of
that be
course,
all right?
yeah.
Because all the details we've mentioned and everything we've talked about today, and pretty pictures and videos and all the rest of it, are on www.WMNGC.co.uk, which is a bit tricky to remember, but if you remember, it's West Midlands Engage Club. It's the first letter.
Yeah.
So, the website's there. It's got full details on it.
So these things that you're renovating, you're doing them during the hours of the club,
Yes,
so people can
that's
see
right.
exactly
Yeah,
what's
exactly
going on.
that.
You can come along, you can see what we're doing. Like I said, we can play trains, or you can get involved with building or renovating one of the layouts. Or you could just come along and have a chat about nothing. Whatever you want to do.
We tend to have a few open days because we're linked to Tipton Green Methodist Church.
Yeah.
So when the church has open afternoons and they open their doors, then people tend to. Our rooms are upstairs not in the church obviously, but in the church hall next to it. And people do tend to just to wander up.
Wander up, yeah.
And they've got no idea about anything that goes on. They've just been told to go and have a look at the lads with the trains, and
Oh,
they're
right.
coming
So
up.
is your stuff permanently there then?
It is,
Permanently
Oh, right,
there,
I see, yes.
So we're all
yeah,
nice
we
and
rent
safe.
the
Yeah,
club
yeah.
rooms off the church
Yeah.
upstairs. So, like I say, there's 4 layouts permanently erected.
And how often do you have the bigger exhibitions?
Well, each of us club members go out individually as well as going out in the club. So there's a few of us, there's maybe 4 or 5 of us in the club that exhibit on our own back sort of thing. At the moment, I think I'm out this weekend. I'm travelling off to Barry Island to go and do an exhibition there. I'm very much looking forward to that 2-day exhibition. There's the local show to us coming up is going to be Aldridge, which is a big show for the club and the members.
It's at the Bus Museum in Aldridge.
Oh yeah.
So they've got an exhibition on, and where Jules is exhibiting there.
So what do you do? Do you just take all your own models then when you go next?
Well, the club takes one of the smaller layouts.
the smaller
we've also
layouts.
got some smaller layouts that go to exhibitions, because at the moment 24 foot is a bit of a stretch in more ways than one to get to an exhibition, because you basically need it's not even a transit van, isn't it?
You need a big van.
You do need a box van to take something like that.
it.
So those days are not happening. But we have got one or two of the smaller layouts that go to exhibition. And again, various members go along and they'll stay for a couple of hours or 3 hours. Shows tend to go from 10 till 4, typically. So you're not expected to, you don't have to go if you become a member. But most people like it. If you're a bit sociable and you like chatting to folks, it's a nice day out. It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I love it. That's why I'm doing the exhibitions. We've got a few exhibitions this year. But
How is it nationally? How many groups are there? Is it dwindling or is it increasing?
No, it's very popular nationally. You can only just got to look at the magazines that we've got. There's 2 or 3 very well-known magazines, and in the back there's always advertisements and for clubs that you can go to, meetings, exhibitions you can go. YouTube is a completely new ball game for us as a hobbyist, because the number of YouTube channels that are rising to fame is superb. We've got our own YouTube channel at the West Midlands Engage Club.
I think in the Birmingham area there's 4 or 5 clubs. You've got us, West Midlands Engage Club, Birmingham Club over in Northfield. There's a club over in Castle Vale. There's a club in Blackheath.
There is.
Yeah.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, and then there's the Worley Club.
Yeah, the Worley Club.
That's the big one.
Don't forget your own friends in West Brom.
Oh, West Bromwich.
yeah.
There's a club, I go there.
Yeah,
The West Bromwich Club. Yeah. So
there's a lot. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There is.
And is it something that I don't know? In some respects, is it something that's very nostalgic, and that's why people latch onto it?
It can be.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, lots of people there's lots of people recreating the scenes from their own childhood. For instance, I've mentioned that when I was younger, I used to stand on a platform, back up north. So, people will go and recreate that as a model. And some of them are absolutely amazing what they're doing with them,
In terms of that, this happens in all creative stuff. How careful do you have to be spot on specific?
My favourite topic.
Because how often do you get somebody coming in? You've put a so-and-so wheel on there, and it's an actual wheel.
Really?
The reason I asked,
we've got a word from them.
Have you? We had a bloke called Ian Pittaway who does medieval music.
Okay.
And he said very often he'll be playing something on his, whatever it is, his lute or something from the 16th century, and someone will come up with, them socks you got on, from the 16th century, mate. So do you
really
get the same sort of
music,
thing?
Innit?
Yeah.
Well, we have them in the
proper
railways. We call them rivet counters.
Who?
Rivet counters. All right,
Yeah,
that's what they're called. So they come up, and it's great when they come up at exhibition. And my favourite one was, because obviously sometimes you've got patience for them at the start of the day, but by the time
if they
3
keep
o'clock,
coming back,
if they keep coming back, or they've got one after one. So I was at an exhibition, well, I won't mention where, but it was fairly local. And a gentleman came up to me, and this was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I had a lovely show. It's very nice, very busy at one point. It's a nice spot to go, good exhibition. And he came up and he went, do you know what I would have done if it was mine? And I went, make your own layout? And he went, and then walked off. I'm afraid it's just once or twice, you just got to give your answer.
Yeah.
Because the other thing we have in our hobby as well is we have this thing called Rule 1. And Rule 1, it's your layout.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter, like Dave was saying, if you've got an oval of track on the floor, it's your layout. Well done. Good job. If you've got a 24-foot exhibition layout, fantastic. It's your layout. It's just whatever you want to do with it. And to be honest, I don't think anybody's got the right to either criticise it or, damn it, really.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you happy.
Absolutely.
Are they? I mean, is that is your model a specific train, or is it just your imagination that's made that
It's my
train?
imagination.
Yeah,
so
I was
my-
going to say.
my-
So it ends
uh,
as if you're trying to make the Flying Scotsman, and that's supposed to be the Flying Scotsman.
No, because it's a very small diesel locomotive in
Yeah.
in a glasses case. At the end of the day, a lot of when I take my stuff out to exhibition, I have to kind of point out to people when they're going, well, that doesn't quite look. It's in a glasses case.
Yeah.
What are you expecting exactly?
Yeah.
But I think it's good for being in a glasses case, and I took a lot of time over it, and people are kind about it when I take it out, and they say nice things about it being in such a small space and everything. But there's always one or two, Bill.
Yeah, but I mean, generally, are the trains that have been in service and stuff like that they use, or doesn't it matter?
Yeah, some people do that. I mean, I think most of us do that to a certain extent. Like if you run a train through, like on the Tipton at the 24, you'll have a train with, 12, 14 coaches. They'll arrange the coaches like they would have done in the 60s. So you'd have to, I don't know, profess to know all the names of the COs, TKOs and all this. It's a bit over my head. So they have them all in the correct order. But some people don't, and that's where what you were saying about the critics coming in. Oh, them coaches wouldn't be like that. So they would be on my layout.
Yeah,
There's lots of clever people do lots of clever things. It's to be admired. Lots of them run proper timetables and they've got proper display screens, and it's amazing stuff to watch. Really good.
I suppose does it depend on, like, if somebody's listening now and think, well, I might go and try that, but I don't want to get involved in the specifics and researching the train and how long. I just want to go and put a train on the train.
Good for them.
That's what we're doing.
So you cater for both. I mean,
Absolutely.
you could have Joe Bloggs who knows the ins and outs of a certain
We've
engine
got some very knowledgeable members and some very clever gentlemen and ladies that come along, and they're always good to go to advice for. And some people, as you just described, just like to play trains.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of comfort and a lot of satisfaction in both.
And I suppose you have to find a middle ground where they both get on. Obviously, the people who know everything don't come over too superior, and the folks that are just there for a laugh don't think, oh, well, they're talking down to me because they know more about it. It's more about the enjoyment, isn't it?
It is, yes. That's what we try and put over at the club. If you want to come to the club and do everything prototypical, I mean, that's great, but if somebody's not prototypical, that's the way they want to be, So we try and put that over at the club. We're a very easygoing club.
We are,
we're not,
that's very true.
We haven't got, like, some clubs, I definitely won't mention them, have like what I call click corners.
Yeah.
But
you get that in any field.
That
You
click
absolutely
won't
do.
talk to that click. But we try and avoid that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we just do avoid it. We
We
haven't got
do.
anybody who doesn't talk to anybody else because we're a small and collect group of varying backgrounds. We come from varying places all over the world. Although we meet in Tipton, we come from a lot of places. Obviously a bit nearer Tipton, Wolverhampton, and over in Walsall and Birmingham and these places. But no, we do. We all get on.
We all get on.
We all get on.
Yeah.
Great. So, should we play another track?
Please.
This is you better introduce this one because this is for Buzz Spinnet.
Well, this is one of my favourite. I was very fortunate. I got to play and request this song on Busby's show very recently, and this is proper Marillion with Assassin.
Great man himself, Ozzy Osbourne, and Crazy Train. I suppose that's the last we've seen of him for, not seen of him physically, but performance, really.
He did himself proud, didn't he?
Yeah, fantastic.
What a show. What a
fantastic.
show.
Yeah, everybody that, I know a few people that went and just said it was just incredible,
Yeah,
really.
and
So,
me, yeah.
well, good up to him anyway, and he can now put his feet up. Well, his missus says they're going to lock the door and throw away the key now. So
I think that's a very good idea, and wish him good health for the rest of his life.
we were talking off air about juniors, which is the future, I suppose. So is that important, and is it really, really difficult to get the younger generation? And how could you do it? I mean, could you take stuff in? I mean, I'm just thinking now, if there are schools out there, could you take stuff into schools and show, create interest that way?
That would be a really good thing to do, I have to say. it would be nice to attract a junior membership. We haven't really got a junior membership. We have got, as I said, my granddevil's a little bit young at the moment, but we have members' grandchildren who often come along and visit, and that's great to see them, and they're very welcome. We don't have a junior membership as such. We've got a lot of, I've got to say a lot, we've got some ex-teachers and that sort of people who are used to working and talking with children in the club, and like I said, they'd be more than welcome. There'd be aspects of the hobby that will be interesting to them. But recruiting them, that's a challenge, I have to say.
I would say not only the trains, but the actual construction, the creative side of it, would undoubtedly appeal, wouldn't it?
It should. You'd have thought so. But I think it's a generation thing. When I was growing up, you was brought up on building stuff. You're always hand on. In these later years, things are more readily available, built.
Yeah.
Even when I started Engage, there were certain wagons I wanted that you couldn't get. The manufacturers didn't make them, so you had to revert to buying kits, and you glued them up, you painted them up, and you put the lettering on them and stuff like that. But there's less of that now in the smaller scales because it's all ready to run. I think what probably would bring the younger generation is a concept called DCC, which is direct current control, where you can literally use your iPhone to run your trains.
Oh, I see, yeah.
It's a system where the ordinary system, you put a transformer, 12-volt output on the track, you turn the knob and the train goes. But if you put another train on the track, the two trains will run together. But with DCC, the track is permanently alive.
Oh, I see, yeah.
So when you put two trains on, each train has an address. So you put the address into the controller and you can send that train off and the other one won't move.
It's a lot more programming, not a computer side of it, which is more attractive.
I was going to say, you've got to find a way into their world to get you into your world, didn't you?
That is one way into their world.
Yeah.
It comes back to this discussion about creativity, I think, and how much you have members who want to do that. It's just like good old Airfix kits, isn't it? When we've all built them as kids and all hung them from string from the ceiling and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know many kids nowadays that would choose to do the same.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, my granddad was wonderful at 6 years old. His imaginative play, fantastic. He's got but his play's all linked to things he's seen on the telly and his programmes, which is all right. But then as he gets older, it's going to be harder to keep him encouraged with such things, I think.
And I suppose the older you get and the more physical trains are taken out and put into museums and that, and then everything, they think, oh, well, I can see that on my phone. Why have I got to go and visually touch it?
Oh, that's
but the sort of the tactileness has gone into it from their world.
I don't know. I think if you actually got them there,
once you get them there,
size and scale of them, when you get next to them, and literally, as you've just said, do touch them. And we were in awe at York.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing.
It's an amazing place.
It's just an incredible place. I mean, we took the Grand Devil along, and when the first time he saw Mallard, which even at the tender age of 5 years old, he knows that's his favourite loco.
Yeah.
Mallard first, and we actually had a footplate tour, which is quite a big deal because they limit the amount of people on there because it's such a historic train. And his mouth was a gag, I tell you. It was fantastic. Really good.
I think it's just getting past that physicality, isn't it? It's a bit like when we do stuff in schools with language. I immediately say, does anybody talk the same as you in your family? Oh, I can't understand me, Nana. Well, record her on your phone, put it onto your project website, and in 100 years' time, somebody will be able to listen to your Nana, and they think, oh, this is cool, I'll do that.
Yeah.
But if you went on page 24, let's do this, don't want to know. Really.
Right.
So it's almost like you've got to find a way, even though it's difficult to do.
Have you worked with the older children, the teenagers?
We do. We do.
That's who we would be trying to attract, really.
Yeah, I suppose the younger ones unless you could get the younger ones as they come through, really. I mean, we have programs like Black Country Mental Health where Sandra goes into the junior schools, and then by the time they're ready to senior schools, they're already encompassed in this idea that we'll look after the other kids, sort of thing.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's just a thought, really. So we've got about 4 minutes. So we better do websites, we better do contact numbers, and we better do times and stuff ready for people.
Okay. Well, everything is all in. It's a one-stop shop. Everything's in one place, and it's all on the website. www.wmngc.co.uk, West Midlands Engage Club, the first capital letters of each of them. There's all the times are on there. There's a contact form on there, so if anybody would like to say, is it okay if I come on such and such a date, is there a meeting, you can just get in contact. There's also a list of the actual dates of the meetings, so if you get a bit lost between the 1st and the 3rd of the month, you can find out. If you do Facebook, we've got a Facebook group under West Midlands Engage, and we have a YouTube channel, which is just, again, using the initials at WMNGC, and you can see the members' trains running on there, all sorts of things going on there.
And it doesn't really matter demographically where they're from?
Not at all.
No.
Because you say you get folks from Wolverhampton, you get folks from all over the place. Do they move from club to club, or they?
Some do.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, I'm a long-standing member of the West Midlands Engage Club, but I'm also a member of the West Bromwich Model Rail Club. So yeah,
and you might as well give them a shout to tell them where.
West Bromwich Model Railway Club meet in Wednesbury. Is it Stafford Street? On a Monday nights, 6 till 9ish. Wednesday mornings, 9 till 12ish. Thursday nights, same again, 6 till about 9. And Saturday mornings, 9 till 12.
And you know where they are, where they're located? At the back of our good friends at Splinter Studios.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's Splinter
Studios.
Studios.
Where Splinter Studios are, we're
Yeah.
virtually opposite.
Right.
Shout out
there.
to Josh and Adam.
Yeah, fantastic, brilliant. I mean, it's been fascinating, have you mean? And the model is just incredible, really. I mean, all I can remember, you used to get one of them little things at Christmas time in a box that you clipped all the track together. And
Yeah.
I suppose that's a start, isn't it?
Very
That's
much,
the start, yeah.
It's just a start,
Still
really.
good.
But there's a massive journey, I suppose, that you can go on with stuff like this.
There is.
Yeah.
So good luck with everything. And
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much for having us on. I really appreciate it.
oh, it's absolutely great. Do you want to give a message to Busby while you're on? And
I think we've made him famous enough, haven't we, Billy? You know
well,
what I mean?
he's famous in his own right,
I
isn't
think
he?
he is, yes.
So this is, as I say, we've had the West Midland Engage Club, WMNGC, 1995. It was originally formed. Oh, Langley Hall,
Yeah.
Warley.
Yeah.
Fantastic so much. So is that in Langley Park?
No, it was
Lang-
on the main road. It's been pulled down. I think
is it?
caught fire and they pulled it down.
Really?
Yeah.
So in my neck of the woods, it was. So that's why it's so good anyway, really. It says it's by went to St Michael's really as well,
Yes,
Causeway Green.
Yeah.
So fascinating journey to take, and I'll be putting a picture up on. Send to Linda who does all the PR. I'm going to put a picture of the model and the lads, so you'll be listening to it over the next month now on Tip and Tales, and it'll probably be repeated on Thursday evenings as well under Finding the Journey. We're going to go out with Gary Moore. Great axeman. Still got the blues for you. Is he still going, or has he passed away? I can't remember.
No, he passed away, I'm afraid.
did he?
Sadly, a few years ago. Yeah.
Years ago now.
But if you're all there and you've got grandkids that just want to pop in and have a look, it's a great show on a Saturday morning. So get down there in Tipton, and good luck with everything.
Thank you
You'll have to
very
let
much.
us know if you've got an exhibition. If you have got exhibitions, just go onto the Black Country Radio site, go into events and put your exhibition on.
Thank
and
you.
then they'll give you a mention for any exhibitions coming up.
That's smashing.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
Take care. We'll see you all next time.